Good afternoon, everybody. Round about, 4 or 5 months ago, maybe a bit longer, I filmed what has been my most viewed video on this channel, and one of my most viewed videos in my entire YouTube career, spanning back to 2016, which is a long time ago. Damn. Anyway, that video I spoke about the situation where a lot of people are leaving a lot of rich Western countries. Now, flash forward however many months. I should have probably found out before I filmed this video, but oh well. That's what happens when you film things live and you're a regular person. Anyway, in that time I've learnt a lot. I've seen a lot. And that video, a lot of people may argue, was me complaining. I don't think it was. It was me acknowledging a simple fact, and it is true that a lot of people have and are leaving. I see videos on it all the time. At that time, the concept of leaving to me seemed a possibility, but not necessarily something that was realistically feasible, because, having the money is element number one. Then you've got to have the courage, then you've got to have the visa, then you've got to have the backup money, right, as well. Then you've got to have the competence to live in a completely different part of the world where the language might be different, the culture will be different. So it seemed like a faraway prospect. In that, I don't know, maybe 6 months, I've spent all of my time, or most of my time, experiencing. And people might say it's a very loose and vague thing to speak about, but put it this way. For the past 2-3 months, I've been focused on simply getting money. Getting money was goal number one. Because I needed money. And I understand that I need money for this journey. I spent a lot of time thinking about the problems that I'm facing and the things that I don't like about where I live. The things that I don't like about the people that I know. And how much I wanted to face or find a different reality. And what I mean by that is not escapism, but a genuine new reality. Maybe having a strong income, a good job, maybe having a 6-figure business, maybe living abroad. When you're thinking about these for the first time, they're all alien concepts, and they're all concepts that seem impossible. I used to, over the past couple of years, spend a lot of time just not enjoying the experience, right? There was a lot of things in, again, my area, my location, the groups that I was hanging around with that I just didn't agree with, right? I just did not find value in the people that I hung around with a lot of the time, the places that I had to go, the things that I had to do. And I always thought, this is rubbish, this is crap. This is just how it's going to be. Do I still live in the same place? Yeah, I still live in the same city, but here's what's changed. This has been a long intro, but I'm trying to explain the point very well. You guys already know. These videos are not scripted, they're just me explaining, right? So I'm just explaining. What has changed in the past couple of years, or the past couple of months at the very least, since I made that video? It's less of an alien concept. I'm now making a lot more money. A lot more money. Like a lot more money. Like a lot. To the point where I can have an online income and live somewhere else. To the point where I can at least even have an online income and use that to buy or rent a property in a nicer part of even England or the UK. Right? To the point where I don't have to hang around with these bad circles. And by the way, I'm not necessarily talking about friends that I didn't like. I'm even potentially colleagues and people that you just know or have to interact with. You don't have to interact with them anymore because you don't need to work bad jobs or go to certain locations anymore because you can go to nicer places. And my point is this. I now have a completely different perspective on those difficult times, on those cold nights, walking back from work or college or university, thinking it's never going to change. When I was in those days, I felt like it was a trap. I felt like I was trapped. I felt like life was just miserable, right? Now I look back on the very same experiences of some of the long hours that I've worked, even in recent months. The days where I didn't feel sure of things. The times where we didn't have money but we had good connections. And I still have all of those things, right? I still have great friends, great connections, etc. But you look back at when that was all you had. When all that mattered was trying to change and escape and be different. And you look at where you are now, and more importantly, because your mind's been opened through money, through connections, through people, through travel, you look at where you could be going, or where you are going. And you contrast that between where you've been. And you know what's funny? It seems like two different worlds, two different lives. And I know people might say, well, how can you have done that much? You've not changed that much. You're still sat in there. It's a personal development journey. To me, it might seem like a huge deal. To you, it might not. To you, it might seem like a huge deal. To me, it might not. Just let people live their lives, man. You know, if you find value in the videos, great. If you like them, great. If you don't, that's another story. You don't have to watch. So people may say it's not a big step. Different steps for different people. I feel like I've changed a lot. And again, now I look back on those times where we just had simple fun. Simple fun. The kind of fun that... Not even necessarily fun, but the kind of entertainment and experiences and day-to-day living that I used to just really not like. Because it felt like the base level that I'd always been on. I don't need to give specific examples, but just to quickly note some off the top, like watching an old show, or hanging out with friends at the local park, or walking around the same city that you've walked around for years. Then you look at it with a new perspective of I can travel anywhere, I can see different things, I don't have to live here anymore, I could move in the next month, genuinely, and never come back, probably. And when you can actually do that, your perspective on everything that you've experienced absolutely changes. Like I say, I look back on those times now with fond memories, even the bad times, because you were in it. You were really grinding it out. Even when it didn't feel fun. A lot of it wasn't fun. That's what builds your character. Doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. That makes you stronger. It gives you an experience, even if it's not a good one. If at the very least, it creates an understanding of what you don't want, so you can chase what you do want, at the very least. So, my point's this. Everything that I used to do back then, I would have still hated now, if that was my peak, the apex. Some people I know from my town, city, you know, perhaps who I went to school with, college, whatever, you meet lots of people over the years. I don't want to go into personal details for other people, but they've not moved on. They've not moved forwards at all. Some of them have actually moved backwards. Bad life decisions. And by the way, certain things, it's not a matter of opinion, certain things are undeniably bad life decisions, right? I'm not talking about getting a job, I'm talking about bad moves. So, yeah. If I was in a position that I knew that I couldn't, or I didn't think that I could move forwards, and that was a stagnant future for the next 60, 80 years, that would have been miserable. But just like I am, and just like I continue to be on because I refuse to give up, a lot of you guys are on a journey of self-actualization. I know it's a term that gets thrown about a lot, but hear me out with it, right? A lot of you guys are genuinely making the steps. A lot of you guys are putting in the work like I am. And I'm with you guys on this, right? Putting in the work that you don't want to do. Showing up to work when you want to do nothing else. Less. Going to the gym when you don't want to. Building an online business even though it's stressful. Even though you might be losing money. Just a few examples. But how does your life look in 5 years if you don't give up? What's your future looking like? What's the path for progression? If I was still stuck, emphasis on that word stuck, it would not be fun. If I can and will move forwards, you find a lot of joy in life. Anyway, this is a weird video. I don't really even know what the point is. It's just me explaining how your perception on everything can change. Like I say, yeah, I wouldn't go back to certain times. I would not do it. I would if I could live a day in a certain period of life, I would do it maybe, but I wouldn't start again. Because when you don't know better, it's tough, but that's the human experience, right? And this is maybe just a weird thing, but what I mean is, with hindsight, maybe if I had a version of myself that is 10 years older, 31-year-old me, can look forward, can come back to me right now and tell me where I'm going to be, then I'd probably feel fine. I'd probably feel completely assured and secure But that's not human experience. The real human experience is more like uncertainty, not knowing these sorts of things. And to some people that's a bit of a challenge, but to others it really isn't. It really depends on how you see it, I think. And that's worth pointing out, I'd say. The real truth of it is, if you had all of the answers that you think you wanted, you would not be learning. If you had all the answers that you think you wanted, and saw the future that you knew that you were having, or could have, or would have, or should have, you wouldn't be working towards it, because you'd take it for granted, and then it wouldn't happen. If you think you're stuck, you're in a different position, and maybe this video is a little bit further on than the step that you're at life, and that's not said to be patronising, it's not said to judge anyone at all. What it's said to do is hopefully put you on the right step. If you're at a position where you are not even beginning to self-actualize, you're not even beginning to think forwards on how you're actually moving forwards. Like, for a lot of you guys watching, you may be knowing that you're going to work every day 9 to 5, or you're going to the gym and you're in pain, or you're not liking your position, but you're trying to move yourself forwards. Now, there's a lot of people for whom that's not true, and if you fall into this category, then this video might be a bit further on for you. Then you need to start thinking about how to actually even move forwards. And going off of that a bit more, as I start to make more videos and people hopefully genuinely find an interest in my content and me, that's when I'll tell you a lot more stories about what I've experienced in life. Because right now, I'm building an audience, right? People don't necessarily watch my videos because they care, and if anybody does, I've got a lot of love for you, but a lot of people are seeing me for the first time. A lot of people are subscribing for the first time, liking for the first time, disliking for the first time, commenting for the first time. You don't know who I am yet. And I don't say that to be all mysterious or anything. I'm saying that because nobody cares yet. When I'm at a point where people are watching for me a lot more, I'll share a lot more stories with you guys about what I've experienced and what I've seen and what I've done, and how good and bad things used to be, or what I've experienced, right, in different regards. So what am I saying here? Because now I'm getting away from the point. The point is, when I thought I couldn't achieve anything, I felt trapped. When I thought I was achieving stuff slowly and I would never get there, I felt trapped. Right now, I am still on the road. You know, I could move, but you'd be doing better if you made like an extra £2,000-3,000 before you did so, a month. You know, I could stay in a different city, but this and that. And that's not me limiting myself. I want to do everything that I do with a degree of excellence. And if I can't do that yet, then I'm not in the right place to do it. But now that you see in the window, right, I view it like a tunnel. When you are in the depths of misery, experience, journey, you're just surrounded by black, right? As you start to walk forwards, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, and then you see, oh well, the tunnel does end, right? I'm right now seeing the light. It's very distant. It's very much, you know, right down there. But I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I can see that this could be the great experience that I always thought it could. But it would never have been the great experience if it wasn't for the, you know, pathetic, stupid fun, or the bad, silly experiences, or the misery, or the feelings that I felt. So embrace it if you're in that step now. Just embrace it and do what you're doing, guys, because you're probably smashing it anyway, and you're probably making more progress than you ever think. If you're not, you need to get on it. But if you are, you'll know. And in a couple of years, you may remember watching this video thinking, yeah, I felt like it was a tough times then, but actually, that was when we were living. It doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that more money or more success is a bad thing. It's obviously not. But what it does mean is, that there's joy on both sides of the coin, right? And people only look towards one, which keeps them miserable for the other.